Welcome back to Mr.Nadeem Reacts. Today, we are taking a journey unlike any other. A journey not through space or the future, but deep into our past, thousands of years ago, when the very first sparks of science began to shine. Imagine a time before electricity, before books, before even the idea of science existed. Humanity was young, the world was vast, mysterious, and dangerous. Yet in that uncertainty, curiosity was born. And that curiosity gave us the first scientists, the men and women who observed, experimented, and asked questions that no one else dared to ask. Picture the earliest humans. They lived in caves and forests, surrounded by dangers, wild animals, storms, and the uncertainty of survival. But they were not helpless. They watched. They studied. When lightning struck a tree and set it on fire, they learned how to control flames. When the seasons changed, they began to notice patterns in the stars above. Without realizing it, they were already practicing the earliest form of science: observation, experimentation, and learning from nature. This curiosity slowly transformed into knowledge, and knowledge transformed into power. Fire became warmth, protection, and cooking. Tools became sharper, homes became safer. But perhaps the greatest discovery of all was not a tool, but a habit of asking why. Why do the stars move? Why does the sun rise and set? Why does sickness come? That simple question, why, gave birth to a tradition that continues even today. Now, let us travel forward in time, to the great civilizations that rose from the fertile lands of rivers. Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, China. These were not just homes of kings and warriors, but homes of the very first scientists. And their discoveries still shape our lives today. In Egypt, science was born out of necessity. The Nile River gave life to the land, but also brought destruction with its floods. To survive, Egyptians had to predict when the river would rise. And so, they watched the stars. They discovered that the rising of Sirius, the brightest star, marked the coming flood. This was not magic. This was astronomy, the science of the heavens. From this, they built one of the earliest calendars, dividing the year into 365 days. Imagine that, thousands of years ago, before modern clocks or telescopes, Egyptians already understood the rhythm of time written in the stars. But Egypt was not only about stars, it was also about medicine. In temples and papyrus scrolls, we find some of the first medical writings in history. One name shines bright: Imhotep, the legendary physician, engineer, and architect. He was called the first doctor, and some even considered him a god of healing. Egyptians performed surgeries, set broken bones, and used herbs to treat illnesses. While they still believed in spirits and gods, they also recognized natural causes of disease, a revolutionary idea at the time. Their achievements in engineering also reveal a scientific mind. The pyramids are not just tombs, they are marvels of mathematics and architecture. To align them so perfectly with the stars and the cardinal directions required precise calculations. Today, engineers still wonder at the accuracy of Egyptian builders. Truly, the pyramids are not only monuments of kings, but monuments of science itself. Now, let's cross the desert and rivers to Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. Here, another cradle of science was born. The Mesopotamians were among the first to record their knowledge in writing, using clay tablets and cuneiform script. Thanks to them, we can still read their observations today. Mesopotamian astronomers carefully tracked the movements of the moon, the sun, and the planets. They could predict eclipses and charted constellations. They divided the circle into 360 degrees, a system we still use today in geometry and navigation. They also developed early forms of algebra, calculating land divisions and trade agreements. In medicine, they combined spiritual beliefs with practical treatments, writing down diagnoses and remedies on clay tablets. What is truly fascinating is that these early scientists were not isolated. Their discoveries spread, traveled, and inspired others. Knowledge is like water. It flows where it can, nourishing civilizations that are ready to receive it. From Mesopotamia, let us journey east to the great land of India. Here, science and spirituality walked hand in hand. Ancient Indian scholars studied mathematics, astronomy, and medicine with remarkable depth. One of the greatest contributions of India was the invention of zero. It may seem small, but zero changed everything. Without zero, we cannot do modern mathematics, computers cannot function, and our entire digital world would collapse. Another great Indian mind was Aryabhata, the astronomer and mathematician. Over 1,500 years ago, he calculated the value of pi, described how the Earth rotates on its axis, and explained eclipses, not as magical events, but as natural shadows of the Earth and Moon. Imagine the courage of such ideas in a time when myths ruled the world. In medicine, India gave us Ayurveda, a system that studied the balance of the body and mind. Ancient texts, like the Charaka Samhita, describe hundreds of diseases and treatments, surgeries, and even plastic surgery methods. Indian doctors understood the importance of diet, exercise, and mental health, a holistic approach that modern medicine is rediscovering today. Now, let us travel further east to China, another ancient land of science. Here, practical inventions changed the course of history. The Chinese invented paper, which allowed knowledge to spread far and wide. They discovered gunpowder, which would later change the nature of war forever. They invented the compass, guiding sailors across unknown seas. Each of these inventions shaped the destiny of the world. But Chinese science was not only practical, it was also deeply observational. The ancient Chinese studied earthquakes and even built the first seismoscope, a device to detect them, nearly 2,000 years ago. They also advanced medicine through traditional Chinese medicine, using herbs, acupuncture, and holistic practices that are still in use today. What is striking about these early civilizations is not just their discoveries, but their method. They asked questions, they observed nature, they recorded results, and they shared their knowledge. That, in essence, is science. They may not have used the word scientist, but they lived by its spirit. As centuries passed, this knowledge grew. It moved from Egypt to Greece, from India to the Islamic world, from China to Europe. Each civilization added its own chapter to the great book of science. And in this first part of our journey, we see the foundation being laid, the first bricks of human curiosity, shaping the architecture of knowledge. So as we end this first half of our story, let us remember, science did not begin in modern laboratories. It began in the eyes of farmers watching the Nile, in the hands of scribes pressing clay tablets, in the calculations of Indian mathematicians, in the inventions of Chinese scholars. The first scientists were explorers of the unknown, and their courage lit the path for all who came after.